So I just asked Mark if we could do a video while we're driving, and he said sure, as long as he can look at the road. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Please watch the road. Actually, we're on our way to Anna Maria Island. We just got a beautiful listing. Super excited. Right on the beach. We're going to do photography on it today. Yep. But the reason I wanted to do a video is because we have another closing tomorrow. And we were going through the routine for closing with our clients.
Yep, we were.
And super common question is, how do I prepare for the closing? And I'm actually going to let Mark talk on that for a minute, but I would just like to say one of my most favorite lines, which is the day of closing belongs to the buyer. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so a lot of people seem to think that the day they're closing on the sale of their home, that they can just take their time and move out on that day that all the paperwork is being signed, and just kind of like, you know, move a little bit, shake a little bit. Reality is, day of closing belongs to the buyer in the Florida Fire Bar as is contract. So you really want to have the house prepared and swept clean, ready for the new owners to take control of that property nice and early in the morning, perhaps at 9 o'clock or so. And that also allows time, if you prepare that way, for any issues that may come up to come up early. So there's no last minute panics.
Definitely.
A last minute panic could be you're moving the master bedroom set out and all of a sudden you bang the wall or you bang the door frame. And it's your responsibility to have the house day of closing in the same condition or better than it was the day the contract was signed. So what does this mean? This means that if you do bang or ding a wall, you need to repair it, because the buyers didn't sign the contract with the intent of having dinged walls. So it's going to be your responsibility to repair that by handyman or by yourself.
I'm so sorry, but look at those beautiful horses.
I know, horses are going in the bay.
Gorgeous.
They're actually doing a bay walk with the big horses.
I'm sorry, I'm not usually the one that.
And we're going over a little bridge onto Anna Maria Island, which is a small barrier island off of Southwest Florida here. It's absolutely beautiful, and we're actually doing it just before sunset. It's gorgeous. It's very pretty outside. We'll
talk about that one because that's a good one.
Yeah, so it's important that if you do those big things the day or 2 days or the week before, that anything that comes up like broken walls, broken wood frames, door frames, broken doors, they can be addressed and fixed. Now, it's also important to remember to read the contract as you're preparing to exit the property, and make sure you're fully aware of what's being sold with the house. For example, light fixtures are part of a contract to sell your home. Just because it says light fixtures doesn't mean you get to change them for alternative ones the day of sale or the week before the sale because you like them.
Because we had this happen about a decade ago.
So we had an experience where some foreign buyers from another country were buying this property that we were selling, and it had these really unique light fixtures. And the day of closing, the seller loved them so much that just figured that she could replace them with another set of light fixtures. But quite often the light fixtures go with the ambience, the theme of the home,
for sure,
and may well be the reason the buyers purchased the home.
So now, having said that, if you have a beautiful chandelier that's been in your family for many years and you are not, and it goes with you, it does not convey with the property, no problem. You need to tell us this in the beginning. We'll attempt to not put this in the photography, and we'll make sure we disclose it in advance. And you will need to replace it with something at least similar. But anyway, so keep talking.
Yeah, that's right. So if there's something that you really want to keep, like the refrigerator, for example, that you just purchased, or a light fixture, or something that's an antique that's affixed to the house but doesn't stay with the sale, just make sure it's conveyed in writing at time of contract or in advance by an attachment on the listing, so everybody knows and is aware and knows exactly what they're getting day of closing. Super important.
Yeah. So another thing I would like to mention is you need to definitely leave on all of the electricity and the water. Please do not, and we send everyone an email. For the record, we send everyone an email with this, but it still happens all the time, and even I can say it. I know people are so busy they just forget. I get it, but you gotta leave the electricity and the water on, because when it's time for the final walkthrough, which is likely going to be the evening before or the morning of, the electricity needs to be on and the water needs to be on, because it will be checked, of course, by the person that's purchasing to make sure everything's good and in working condition. We have these lists available if anyone would like it.
Now say you're throwing away all your furniture and you're not taking it with you. Don't do that day of closing or the day before.
Please don't leave it on the
because we've turned up to homes day of closing, and there have been couches and beds and all kinds of furniture and trash bags lined up along the side of the property or the road of the property, not preparing for your closing properly. Make sure that you get with the city, book a private contractor, and have that stuff picked up the day before closing.
Yeah, for sure. You just have to work it out with the city. They'll work with you, but it just takes planning and preparation. And again, we have all of this in writing, and we send it to everyone. And if you like it, we can send you a copy.
Can you remove the window treatments?
No, no, you cannot, unless you've disclosed in advance that you will be removing it. And there are reasons. And maybe your great aunt gave you these beautiful window treatments, and there's no way that you're parting with them. No problem. You just need to let the new buyers know that
from the day that the buyer signed the contract, can you repaint the whole interior or exterior of your house a different color?
That should be super duper obvious, but no, you cannot sell a white house and then try to sell a
day of closing. They're coming into a yellow house or a bubble house, and also you can't leave furniture behind unless you have. It's communicate. Day of closing. Make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Go past this light,
and then it's always successful. But remember, that day belongs to the buyer.
Yeah, the day of closing belongs to the buyer. So again,
what else? What else did we miss?
That's it. We do send this out as attachments to everyone.
So say something's broken. Say something is broken day of closing by freak accident. How can we resolve it?
Just throw money at it.
We can
throw the money at it.
We can actually. A more clinical way of going towards that would be, we all negotiate a credit to the buyer for the buyer to take care of that issue after the closing, so the closing isn't held up. So for example, if something does break or there is an issue that needs to be taken care of by a handyman, a contractor, plumbing, electricity, painting, whatever it is, that might take time to get a contractor in, certainly if the buyer wants a certified contractor. So we can just negotiate that cost as a credit to the buyer so the buyer can take care of it in their own time, or we can make an addendum to extend the closing until the seller has taken care of that issue for the buyer, if they want to buy the house in the same condition it was the day they actually wrote the contract.
This is all true and very technical, and Mark is 100% right, but definitely you throw money at it. I promise you, if you offer someone a very big credit, they'll be like, fine.
Are you on about dollar bills? Or
yes, well, not actually, but you get my point. You say, oh, we're so sorry, as we were moving out, this occurred. Here, we're giving you a credit of $500 to get it fixed.
Or whatever the estimate happens to be.
Yeah, I know. So, but that's it. I think hopefully we, in our own way, explain that really well. But we're always here for questions.
Yes.
If needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next video is going to be, how do I prepare and what do I do for a home inspection now that I've sold my home?
We just did that this morning. And then the next video is, how do you stay married and be this happy, blissfully happy, when you work together 24/7? Because clearly it can be done. Here we are. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to love that video. That's going to be fun. All right.
I'll do most of the talking for that one.
Bye for now.